Welcome to the May 2026 recap. We're going to take a look at the games that I played, which admittedly was a lighter month than usual. I probably played 15-ish games less than usual, but still got a lot of games played. So got 20 games played overall, 16 that are new to me, so let's hop in. Hey, I'm Ryan. Welcome to the Board Game Journey, where you are joining me to play 1,000 games. Let's go ahead and crack open the computer here and see what games we played in May. So there's only 20 games. I'll go ahead and just list them somewhere on the screen here. So first up we have Acropolis, we have DNUP, Frenzy Falls, Burst, and Catan. Believe it or not, that's actually the first time I played Catan. I played a quick 3-player friends with a buddy. We only played like half a game, but he let me borrow it. And I came home and played with my in-laws, played like a 4-person game. I'll let you know how that went. So then we played Raw and Right. We played Rubber, Paper, Scissors, Cities, USA, the new one, Mystic Paths, Nova Luna, Nunatak, Temple of Ice, Pirates of the High Teas, Piñatas, At Your Age, Frosted Blooms, Locus, Off With Their Heads, QORK, Hanamikoji, and Odin. So those are the 20 games I played, but let's break them down into some categories. So the categories I have listed that we're gonna go through right now are my top 5 of the month. We're gonna go through my favorite cool down game. I'm sure you guys like to have that game that doesn't have to be heavy, it can be silly, and typically the kind of game that I wouldn't want to play any other time unless my brain's already kind of mushy and they're just fun. Next category is games I want more plays of. You know, sometimes you just can't get a good feel with one play, how the game is gonna feel. Then we'll get to the games that kind of fell short. There was only a couple of them, but some I will never play again. So my top 5, now I will say I do have an honorable mention because when I racked and stacked the 20 games, I just naturally had 6. So I figured, all right, one honorable mention, let's do it. So my honorable mention is Frenzy Falls. The reason this one didn't really crack in my top 5, because I only played it 2 players. I liked it at 2 players, but I want to try it at 3 and 4. I think maybe it plays at the 5, I can't remember. But I want to try it at higher player counts before I really give it my, my seal of approval in terms of like a game I really love. Because for me, my family plays a lot of card games. And it's just nice to have some that play really well at 2, but also play well at other player counts. And I'm curious if Frenzy Falls is one of them. I really enjoyed my, it's a light game, but I really enjoyed my game at 2 players. So I'm really curious to see how it plays at 3. All right, number 5. Number 5 is Nunatak, Temple of Ice. So far, this game is pretty fun. I played it twice, played it at 2 players and 3 players. Definitely a family weight game. I mean, I like it because you are kind of like building this temple. I think it's 4 different levels. And you also doing a lot of this different set collecting. Admittedly, the set collecting, since I think there's like 10 different things or something like that you can do. So those are always a little bit overwhelming for people. Even though they have like an info card, they're always like, what does this card do? What does that card do? How does this one score me points? But I'll tell you what I told my family is just pick 2 or 3 and focus on those to try to do really well on. And then the other ones you'll kind of just figure out along the way. And after your first play, it's gonna be really simple, which it was. At the end of the game, everyone said, oh yeah, this is not hard at all. It's just that initial like rules download that they're like, oh, there's too many things to know, but it plays pretty cleanly. I am curious to try it out 4 players, because at 2 players, you're sort of playing this 3rd player, even though you're just playing 2 of you. At 3 players is great. At 3 players, it's like its own game. I think it shines probably at 3. 4, it has slightly different rule changes. I'm curious to see how it goes. It's not drastically different. I just know there's slightly different maybe goals you can achieve on top of the 4 players you can't in the other player counts. Number 4 was Hanamikoji. I am a sucker for these lane battle type games. This one has come up on so many different review boards and people's top 10s and this and that. So I'm always curious to give it a try. I played a lot of other, and I own a lot of other, these kind of lane style tug of war type games. This one, you have these geishas in front of you. And I think what makes it different from ones I have played is everyone has 4 actions and you have to do all 4 actions to kind of end the round. And some actions are like discarding cards. Some actions are, doing a split you choose where, I put down 3 cards. They pick 1 for themselves and the other 2 are mine. And it has these kind of things. So, but you have to play all 4. But you know that. And at the end, you kind of look at the board and you go through each geisha and see like who has, the most honor or whatever they call it in this game. So, and then if you can win so many geishas or so many points, then you win the game. So, but I was kind of fascinated by the mechanic of like knowing you have to do these 4 actions and you're trying to figure out the right order, and you're also trying to, you can sort of, card counting is part of it too, because okay, I know there's only 2 of these cards and I have 2 of them, so I can control it. Or I have 3 of these, does he have the other one? And so you're always trying to figure out the strategy in the moment. Very tactical game, what I'm trying to say. But I've only played it once, so really enjoyed it for this month. Definitely want to try it more and see kind of how it, lands in terms of all the other games I have. So number 3 is one of the 4 games I have played before, and that is Frosted Blooms. I've only played it once last month. This month I played it twice. So far, it's been a game that my family has requested to play, which is not very common. You know, there's only a few games out there. Maybe I probably listed on one hand how many games they actually request. And now this is graduating into one of those few games that they're like, well, let's play Frosted Blooms. It's a newer tile laying game that what makes it interesting though, is you're not just trying to put things neatly together. You kind of want to leave spaces, because when you leave spaces, you earn these other tokens that you add to your board that give you more points. And there's also like a race to do certain kind of groupings to get certain kind of prizes. So the game is super efficient. I made another video on it where I go into detail if you want to see it. But what I love about it is like it's simple but complex. Simple because on your turn you really just take one tile and place it, and that causes a cascade of other things to happen, which is just smooth and kind of games I really like to play. All right, number 2 is similar to number 5 in that I've seen it talked about all the time. People always say they liked it, but it just, I don't know, maybe it was the artwork or something. It just never spoke to me. It's not a game I was just like, oh man, I got to try that game. And that is Acropolis. So I tested it out with my buddy first, played just a 2-player game, and I was like, wow, this is actually pretty smooth. I think my family might like it. So the next day, tried a 3-player game with them, and they were like, yeah, this is smooth. They really enjoyed it. So the very next day after that, which never happens, like, hey, let's play that game again with the tiles. And we have some family in town who I guess not really gamers, but they're just kind of looking for something to do. So like, hey, let's play a 4-player game of Acropolis. And you can tell from being non-gamers, their brains were a little bit overwhelmed. And even after the first game, the guy was like, yeah, I almost tapped out. But he was happy he did it because he ended up playing the game twice. Because we kind of had a run it back moment. After the first game, everyone's like, I got the game, let's play it again. And I'm down to play it again. It's just fun. It's very light. Like it's one of those games where I look at what everyone else is kind of doing and I just kind of go ham on one strategy. Like for instance, on this one, they have these purple tiles, but you can get the purple tiles fully enclosed and surround it and get them like on different levels. Because that's what's cool about this game versus like something like Cascadia. You know, Cascadia is like flat and like, you know, and this one you kind of want to build on top of the tiles. I know there's a new Cascadia, I think it's like Alpine or something coming out, but this game was definitely before that. So that's why I'm just thinking it's new and novel for itself. So it's definitely a game solid in my collection, just like Frosted Blooms. It's definitely not going anywhere. My family also requested this game a few times now. We played it again the other day. They're just like, hey, we got 30 minutes to kill. Let's play that Acropolis game again. So like, sweet. So far, definitely a top game. All right, number 1 was a super sleek card game. I probably give away by saying that, and it is DNUP. I assume that's how you say it. DNUP, down up, I don't know. We'll just go with one of those versions of it. So with DNUP, I mean, to be truthful, I've never been the hugest Scout fan. I like it, but I feel like it doesn't really play well at 3 players. It plays best at like the higher player count, I think at 4 or 5. But because of the structure to play, for me at least, it just drags on a little too long for the kind of the weight of the game I want it to be. Whereas DNUP solves that. DNUP's just snappy, fast, gives me the Scout vibes, but in a cleaner, smoother package. So yeah, this is a winner for me. It's definitely a card game I'll be throwing in my bag and bring with me everywhere. I'm definitely going to get another copy, just leave in the car, because it's just an easy game to bust out and play with people. I've introduced it to so many people since I bought it, and each one just picks up right away, and we're just competitive, having fun. Funny enough, I love the game. I've never won. I've never won this game. So one day, I feel like I need a counter of like how many times will I have to play this game before I win it. Every time I get close, someone else beats me. I think I only won like 1 round in the game, because in DNUP, you're trying to win 4 letters. So if you get first place, you get 2 letters. If you get second place, you get 1 letter. So I've gotten first place, I got in second place, but I just never pulled it off. So we'll see. One day, hopefully, I can get first place, get my 4 letters, and be a DNUP champion. My favorite cool-down game this time was rubber, paper, scissors. Someone out there suggested this game to me, and I was like, sure, I gotta try it out. So it was great. I really did enjoy it. I played with my buddy. Games like this, I always compare them to like Sausage Sizzle, because like on the surface, they're just kind of dumb, stupid games. But when your mind's mush and you play games that are just like rock, paper, scissors, you can't help just get like, I don't know, just into the game. So we played a bunch of like heavier games, and we're like, oh, we'll just play one more. And we kind of got used to playing like these lighter games. So I was like, oh, we'll just try this one. I just got it in. And you know, by the 3rd or 4th rock, paper, scissors bout, I mean, we're just like, I felt so tense. I was like, oh my God, I want to win this next one. So with rubber, paper, scissors, which is just rock, paper, scissors, you play rock, paper, scissors, and it kind of combines that with tic-tac-toe and set collecting. So taking these 3 things and making this very different game. Because you have 9 spots you're going to go to, and each spot you're going to play rock, paper, scissors. Whoever wins gets the first of 3 actions. They choose one. the second whoever lost gets to choose one of the remaining two, and the winner gets the last one. And so you're kind of playing like tic-tac-toe. You're also doing set collecting, and at the end, highest score wins. It's a super simple game, but I just really enjoyed it. Before I get to the 2 games I did not like, let me just go over quickly 3 games that I want to have more plays before I finally decide. The first game was Mystic Paths. So this is a word kind of association game where you get these certain clue cards, like word cards, and you're trying to get your guy through this maze, and everyone's sort of working together. So think like So Clover or games like that, where you're kind of working together to kind of solve like what I'm thinking. So these games I like them. I'm constantly trying to host these little party games where I have people over, and these are just fun social games that kind of get people talking. I've only played it with my buddy, and that's why I want to try more, because I haven't tried it where I really want to play it with that 5, 6 people, where we're all working together to try to solve this game. So once I do that situation, then I can really fairly rate it. Next up is a party game that we just played called Act Your Age. I had like, I think 8 of us playing it or something like that. And it was funny. The audience was a mixed crowd where I think the game would be better served with my friends, people who just were a little bit more loosey-goosey. So the game is straightforward and fun. I enjoyed it, but I just want to play with different people. So how it works is if, say I'm going first, I draw an age card. I think it goes from like 1 to 100 or something like that. So say I draw age 25. So now everyone goes around and asks me a question from these like pre-written questions on their question cards. And I have to answer the question as if I'm 25 years old right this minute. So, so the questions are, various level of, different wackiness and funniness, and they're usually pretty clean. It's just like, might be something as, what time do you eat dinner? Like, what's your favorite time to watch a movie? These kind of things. And you have to answer it as if you're that age, right? I liked it. It got everyone talking, and it just, maybe it's just fun to also, like, you get an 80-year-old, you're trying to respond as an 80-year-old. If you get a 5-year-old, you're trying to respond as a 5-year-old. It's just cute. I think the confusion I had with my game group was, some of the older people there, they kept trying to be the age that they were, not the age today. So that also led to some very funny moments. So even though it wasn't technically playing the game the way it was written, it was still very funny to play the game. My last one is Off With Their Heads. It is definitely a heavier flip and right game because there's a lot going on. I did play with my neighbors, and they're not really big gamers, but they're quick to pick up games. So I said, I think they can learn it. We tried it. The game sort of like combines poker. So the game sort of combines like poker with almost trick taking with like a flip and right kind of style. Because you have 3 sections on this board. You have cards in your hand, like regular playing cards. And depending on what card value and suit you play, you either can play into the top, middle, or bottom section. And that's really it. And you're just trying to play roll and write on those sections, and you try to get the highest score. And there's a lot of little things going on. So definitely a heavier style kind of flip and right. Not like it's like an ultra hard game, but it's definitely not entry level. I would say more like if you play a lot of roll and rights, flip and rights, it's definitely on that medium end where I would say like that's where I would play people who are kind of into this kind of stuff. But it's interesting. There's a lot going on. That's why I want to try it again. So we'll give it one more go. One more go with like more players and just see kind of how people like it. All right, the next category is games that fell short. So there's 2 of them this month. One of them was a game that you think I would have played a long time ago, but I haven't. And that is Catan, which we mentioned in the intro. I played nearly 500 games, but somehow never played this game. But I also never played Wingspan. So, some games just get missed. So at Catan, I played a quick 3-player game, but we only had time to play half. So I walked away with a feeling like, oh, that was pretty fun. You know what? It's actually pretty enjoyable. I liked it. And then I brought it home to my family. My friend let me borrow his copy. And then I played a 4-player game. And then I would say the first 30 minutes, super enjoyable. We actually were laughing and go, oh, wow. And even my family was like, Ryan, we never played this game before. It's so much fun because they like the bidding and the trading. But then I would say it devolved very quickly after that. After that 30-minute mark, I would say every minute felt like eternity. And after we hit the first hour, everyone was kind of like, man, this is a long game, Ryan. I was like, hey. So I kind of looked at everyone's score. We all agreed, like, okay, instead of 10 points, we'll just say first to 7, and we'll call it. So maybe we played 15 more minutes, and the game was done. So it's not a game for me. Not a game I want to keep. Glad that I play it. Finally can say I played Catan, because every time I mention I'm a big board gamer, of course, with people who aren't really into it, they always mention that game. Oh, you play Catan? Oh, I love Catan. And I'm always like, oh yeah, I played a lot of games, but never that one. But now I can finally like play it. But more importantly, like they like the game, it's great, but I love to like maybe recommend games. I like being this like sommelier of board games where people will mention games they like and I'll be like, oh, have you tried these 2 games? Because it's just fun to like find games that they enjoy. They love Catan, hey, good on them. But I might be able to say, hey, have you tried this game or this game? I couldn't really do that because I never played it. But now that I played it, I know how it feels to play it, at least, and I can probably recommend games that I'd probably rather play versus that. All right, so the last game on this list sort of surprised me because I didn't think I wouldn't like it. I just thought I'd be okay with it. Like, it's okay. And that game is Cities USA. Because I have the original Cities, and I even made a video on it. I think it's one of my first videos I've ever posted on this channel. And so I like it. It's a great Gateway Plus game. So I just assume I would also like Cities USA. I think my biggest reason I didn't like it is because they introduced this concept called like neighborhoods. So you have to connect streets. And going in, I thought, okay, that'd be fun. This little extra puzzle. But what I didn't like about it, it just, at the end, when it came to the scoring, it was really kind of hard to tell where neighborhoods were and weren't. And then, the edge of the board technically is streets. So it just wasn't great. And I thought they kind of leaned a little too much into the neighborhood thing where it's like, oh, neighborhood of this, or a neighborhood of 5, a neighborhood of this, an area of this. So I don't know. I kind of wish it was like 70% the same as Cities and just like 30% more of this new stuff. Just like, hey, a little extra challenge. To me personally, I felt like maybe Cities USA was the original version of the cities that we know. And they cut out the streets, published cities, it did well. And they're probably like, you know what? Let's bring back those streets. I think it's gonna be awesome, but it wasn't. They should have left it gone. Maybe not. I mean, maybe being too mean, but that's what it felt like. I felt like this was like a half-baked idea that in theory it works, but when you actually go to play it, it's just, at least in this form factor, it doesn't quite work. At least it didn't for me. So Cities USA is definitely a game that it's a one and done. All right, so that is the recap for May. Any of those games that you guys also played that you guys really enjoyed, or what were your favorite games for the month? I'd love to hear from that. I'm always check the comments. You guys always recommend some games. If I don't know it, or at least you guys are praising it, I tend to go out and buy it and try it right away. So keep leaving comments. Let me know what games you guys are playing. I'd love to hear from you. And of course, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Until the next video, have fun gaming. Take care.